Alright, so this is a myofascial release video, and in this video we'll be focusing on the neck and specifically into the sides of the neck space here. Okay, if you feel that maybe you felt kind of like a shortening, especially into the sides, you feel the shoulders are kind of coming upwards towards the ears. Maybe you've been doing a lot of work that requires you to kind of hunch forwards and stay in the slightly rounded position this way, which could be affecting the sides of the neck as well, or it just really feels uncomfortable when you're turning the head side to side. Hopefully this will be able to help you. Alright, so for this one we will need to use a release ball. We'll be using just the one ball. So if you do have a release ball, that's great. Otherwise you can get a tennis ball or find something else to substitute this. It's best if you can get something that is really similar to this release ball, because they are really pliable, it's firm, and it gives some really firm support when you apply and press pressure down into it, right? At the same time, it is really grippy, meaning that when I place it against my bare skin and when I move or the ball against the skin, it's just pulling the skin together with the direction of the ball, and then that's kind of helping to create that change underneath the layers of the skin here as well. Okay. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Yeah, just make do with what you do have. And you will also need a block. If you don't have a block, you can find maybe a really sturdy hard-covered book, alright? That's really nice and firm to give you some support. Now just be mindful that if you're not using a block, right, if there are edges to the prop, especially the corners, where it's really sharp, please place a towel or a blanket over it so that it protects you and doesn't end up cutting into your body. Okay, so I'm going to show you where the area is, the specific area we're going to be working into, and that's specifically here on the sides of the neck here, what we call the SCM muscle. Okay. To find this muscle is really easy. Now I'm going to place the opposite palm against the side of the neck. So I'm using my left palm against the right side. Okay, I'm touching against the side, and I'm going to turn my head across to the other side. So I'm turning my head to the left. Alright, so my head is forwards and to the front, and as I turn it to the left, I can sense a muscle fiber that is moving into this area here. Alright, and before we start the technique, we're just going to do a quick check-in for the neck area, for the space. So really, once more, okay, just turning the head to the side, maybe dropping the head down and up, and then seeing how that side of the neck feels. Okay, and then checking in on the other side as well. So now turning the head to the right side so that you feel that movement of the muscle on the left side of the neck. And then you can move the head up and down. So you draw the chin up and down. Again, just feeling and just being aware of how these areas of the neck feels right now at this moment here. Okay. So the muscle that we're specifically getting into, right, is into the side. And we feel, and this muscle here, it traces all the way up, okay, from the front edge of your collarbone here. It moves all the way up towards the back, and it attaches towards the back side of the skull here. Okay, so behind the ear, and this is exactly where we'll be wanting to be placing the release ball. Alright, so I have the block handy. Slowly coming down onto your back, and then placing the ball. Okay, you can once more just feel where it is, right, into that side, right, slightly behind the ear, towards the base of the skull, right at the bottom of the skull, and you bring it down onto the ball this way. So you can notice already here that my head is not looking skywards. It is tilted slightly outwards to the side. Okay, because I'm compressing and getting into this area, this spot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hold and just be still in the spot for a little while. And maybe I can stay here for a few breaths if this is already quite sensitive for me, or I feel a little bit tender here. Or maybe I can initiate some movement as I draw the chin downwards and draw the chin up. So, slow movements as I maintain pressure onto that ball space. And I can do this a couple of times, or maybe there's another technique that I can do is I maintain the pressure onto the ball, and then I can hold onto the ball. So I use it's on my left side, I can use the left hand to hold onto the ball, and I'll be holding it this way, right, with the thumb, right, and the forefinger. Okay, this way, just holding onto the ball, just gripping it, okay, by the both ends, okay, holding it this way, and then I can spin the ball. So I'm turning this ball in one direction, and I can turn it in the other direction as well. So, I'm holding it here this way, and I'm spinning, right, clockwise and anti-clockwise. So it stays in the same spot. Now just be careful if you have lots of little hairs towards the base of the neck. You can always use the opposite arm. So I'm using my left palm to sweep all the baby hair up, and I'm holding it along the back of the head so that I can use my free arm, then my left arm, to freely spin the ball underneath here in one direction and in the other direction as well. Okay? Alright, yeah? So make sure that you do this for a while before you come into the other side, and then the same thing on the other side to find the muscle. Okay, so you're turning the head to the side, right, as you feel where the muscle fiber is, okay, feeling it running up into the base of the skull. So whichever technique that you're doing, whether you are staying, right, and then just holding here in compression, whether you are maybe tilting the head up and down, or maybe you are spinning, holding and spinning the ball. Alright, so whichever technique, try to do each technique for about 15 to 20 breaths, alright, or about up to 2 minutes. And you can always rest in between if you need to, right, so it doesn't get too intense. We don't have to stay too long into the areas, into the muscles here. We don't want to overdo it as well, otherwise they get really tired and it gets bruised as well. Alright, so hopefully that has helped you, especially if you've been feeling into the sides. You can do a quick check-in again. So we're just going to turn the head to the side, and then slowly bring the chin up and down, just feeling how that feels. And then into the other side. Again, moving head up and down, maybe noticing if you have a slightly more wider range of movements this way, or maybe it just feels looser. Okay, alright, so thank you for joining me in this video. I hope to